This is the Schmo with the pro, the WBC welterweight champion himself, Showtime Shawn Porter, and his trainer, his father, Kenny Porter. We're inside Barry's Boxing Gym, Las Vegas, Nevada. How we doing?
Always doing good, man. When we're running into you, we're always good.
Everything's great.
That's right. We just saw you sparring right over there. You're getting ready for September 28th. Errol Spence, your friend at one point in time, man. Now there's bad blood because the title's on the line. He's got that red belt, the IBF championship. You got that green belt. He's a little bit taller than you. He's talking smack at the press conference. You guys have a personal relationship. How does it make you feel?
You know, I'm good. You know, at this point at time, man, the only thing I'm focused on is the training camp. I know that a good training camp they always have with my dad to get me ready for anything. You know, so I'm not worried about the height. I'm not worried about the smack talk. When I start going back at him with that, it's going to be some other problems. So it's all good.
Yeah, I feel good about everything we're doing. We've already had a number of weeks of training. Shawn's in excellent shape. You know, Errol Spence is a great fighter. Shawn Porter's a great fighter. And this is what makes great fighters great, going up against each other.
And Kenny, you got a personal relationship with Errol. You worked with him over at the Olympic stuff. You helped him train for sparring with Floyd Mayweather when he came here to Las Vegas. You know him inside and out. He's looked at you when he's been in the depths inside the ring. What are you telling your son over here that people don't know about Errol Spence?
You know what? Everybody knows Errol's a great fighter, so I'm not telling Shawn anything that Shawn doesn't already know. What I'm trying to make sure of is that Shawn can do all the things I know he is capable of doing. Our preparation is second to none, and we're going to be ready for September the 28th. And this is the immovable object against the irresistible force, and they're going to meet in the center of the ring. It's going to be an explosion.
When you were boxing, you had trouble with southpaws, you had trouble with taller fighters, but you made sure that your son didn't have that problem. When people say he's a taller fighter than you and they talk about his advantages, what do you have over Errol Spence that you know that Shawn Porter's got that this guy doesn't got?
I got it all. You know, I have the speed, the quickness, the aggression that he's never had before, been put in front of him before. I have the power that he's never had put in front of him before. There's a combination, and that's what it takes to beat Errol Spence. I have that combination. You know, they put guys in front of him before that may have been bigger than him, may have been slightly faster than him, may have been counterpunchers, so on and so forth. But he's never had all of that coming at him at one time. And that's the separation here with myself and anybody else he's been in the ring with.
The Schmo heard you just say one time. We're thinking Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao. You saw the fight. Did that get the result that you were expecting?
You know what? That was the that was the result that I was expecting. It came slightly different than I had expected. Keith held his own through the entire fight, and which I was a little surprised by, but also proud of him for doing. He was up against a lot in Manny Pacquiao. Anyone who ever gets in the ring with Manny Pacquiao is. And definitely for myself, somehow I always end up scouting and figure out what I need to do, not only to beat Manny Pacquiao, but also to beat Errol Spence. You know, so when I'm studying, when I'm watching, it's to beat anyone who I'm in front of, not just those guys who are in the ring. So I was learning that night, but I was learning in preparation for Errol Spence.
We don't look past any fighters, but do you envision a showdown with Manny Pacquiao before he hangs it up?
I hope so. That'd be a great fight. Again, like I said, great fighters make great fighters. So when Shawn Porter fights at Danny Garcia, Shawn Porter fights at Keith Thurman, Shawn Porter fights Errol Spence, Shawn Porter fights at Manny Pacquiao. These guys, at some point in time, now the same conversation, not saying that they're the same fighters, but the same conversation as your Leonards, Haglers, Hearns, Durans. Same type of conversation.
No, you're a big karaoke singer, man. What's your go-to song?
Lately it's been Can You Stand the Rain by New Edition. I'm currently assembling a group of guys known as the Ooh Yes of Las Vegas. So look out for the Ooh Yes. Will be coming soon. Ooh yeah.
Can we get a second beat?
Ooh yeah. I don't know.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, got you, Schmo.
No, I appreciate that. No, Kenny, you were hanging out with the Mambas posse over in the Dominican Republic. Who are you going to be hooking up courtside over there at Staples Center September 28th?
I'm quite sure we'll see LeBron James. More likely to see LeBron and definitely some of Kobe's peoples. Even Kobe may be there. You know, there's guys that I know that have already reached out to me. You know, a lot of guys like a Dave Chappelle and Faison Love, those comedians, those actors, those guys are expecting to be there. I've heard, as much as Denzel Washington. So the stars are coming out. The stars are coming out, and, we're not in love with the Golden State Warriors because we're originally from Cleveland, but there's some Warriors that I know that are going to be coming in there as well. So the stars are going to come out, and the stars are going to shine in the ring.
Which Warriors?
Iguodala and Shawn are good friends. They go back probably 10 years.
Yeah,
And they've been in the boxing gym together, and they've hung out before. So I expect him to be there. Iguodala likes to hit the bag. Another guy, Kendall Gill, who used to be in the NBA. He's an NBA announcer now. Kendall's reached out to me, shot me a text and said, hey, I'll be there September 20th.
Hey, he's got a pretty good right hand. He beat this guy, Tim O'Doyle, I believe it was, at the Comcast Sportsnet set a few years back. He was talking smack.
He showed me the highlight of that, man. He loves boxing. That's the thing that people, I don't think they fully realize, but by this fight taking off on Fox pay-per-view, everyone's going to realize who out there is a fan of boxing. And it's going to be a star-studded event. I'm not going to say it's going to be because of just me. I know this fight alone is going to bring a lot of attention. But ourselves, we're going to reach out to who we know and make sure that they're in the building and they're bringing everybody that they know. I myself reached out to Shaq, and he was on tour, and I still got him to do a text for me, do a tweet for me. You know what I mean? So when Errol Spence says, I'm the pay-per-view star, buddy, you've only done one pay-per-view. He did a pay-per-view against a Mexican fighter, a great Mexican fighter, who really was the pay-per-view star there. So we're going to find out this time, and it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to all of it.
Well, hopefully you don't bump your buddy Shawn Merriman to the second row with all these stars coming out there.
He'll be there.
Yeah,
he'll be there. Yeah.
I spoke to him. Yeah. I spoke to Husa Masada. Yeah, he said he'd be there. Yeah. So there's a lot of guys that are coming to this fight that, it's put together in a way right now that it would be perfect for TV and also perfect for the people that come there because of the energy that's going to be in the building, but also the energy that's in the center of the ring.
Mm-hmm. Final thoughts on how the fight's going to go. You had a great, tough fight with Ugas. That went the distance, man. How do you foresee it going down Saturday night, bright light, September 28th? We'll start with you, Kenny.
Shawn Porter wins. It's not going to be an easy fight. I know it's going to be the hardest fight that he's been in, but we've been in hard fights. We're prepared for this. This is nothing new to us. And I've seen Errol. I've known Errol for years since he's a teenager. I've worked with him, traveled all over the world with him. And, he's a great fighter. But on September the 28th, as the levels get raised and the levels continue to raise, we want to take him to a place he hasn't been before. I know he hasn't been there because he hasn't been there with a Keith Thurman. We have. He hasn't been there because he hasn't been there with a Danny Garcia. We have. He hasn't been there because he hasn't been there in those situations with a Kell Brook. Let's keep it real on a Kell Brook situation. Kell Brook fought
Triple G.
Errol. No, he fought Errol.
Okay.
He fought Errol, and in the press conference, Errol told him to his face, Shawn Porter beat you. You were there in the press conference. He said, Shawn Porter beat you. Errol forgot that he told Kell Brook that. So let's keep it real for a second, Errol. You know you're in a real fight. It's a real fight. It's a great fight. It's a great fight for both fighters, and we look forward to this. This is what we train for. This is what we prepare for. This is what we live for, to be in great fights. Life and death situations is what we require of ourselves to be in order to be successful. I don't believe he's been in that situation. He hasn't been in that situation. We came out of the Kell Brook fight without a scar on our face because Kell held us the whole entire night. So, we're looking forward to a whole lot of everything going on. Like Shawn said, he's going to have to do a lot of everything. It's not going to be one thing that can beat an Errol Spence. Not one thing. But the difference between the people that he's fought and Shawn is exactly what Shawn said. I'm in total agreement with him. He had guys that might have been fast, or he might have had guys that might have been strong. But he didn't have guys that were fast, strong, and quick, and aggressive, and also guys that could take a punch and bring back 4 or 5 punches because you hit them once. We're coming back with 4 or 5. So let's see how that plays out. But at the end of the night, I know it's going to play out into our favor. I expect us probably to have the highest punch output we've ever had in boxing. So go to work, get ready, buckle up or knuckle up, whatever you got to do, but it's going down September 28th, Staples Center.
Big accolades. And Shawn, this is going to be the last question. He's your trainer. He's your father. What's the nicest thing you could say about Pops?
Nicest thing I could say about my dad? Nothing.
I'll think.
Nothing. I don't know, man. The nicest, I don't know. There's countless things I can say about my dad. You know, at the end of the day, one that I'm pulling on right now is the fact that he's standing right here with me right now. There's a difference there with what he and I have, and with what a lot of other father and sons don't have.
Like the Garcias.
And I'm not saying no names. I'm speaking on him and I. You know, the fact that he's here right now says enough. You know what nicer or more loving thing can he do but be here with me right now?
In this hot gym. These are the pros. I'm the schmo. We're out.